human. You're not an animal. You're not a killer.
It's been haunting me.
It's been haunting you?
Like, I regret it every day.
Meet Domino's pizza worker turned murderer, Joseph Lopez. Because more than 40 days ago, Joseph killed 19-year-old Natalie Bollinger, hiding her in a wooded area he thought nobody would ever check, all until now.
She was found on 16th and Riverdale, that area.
But Joseph has crafted up a meticulous story to make sure that he walks home a free man. So, will he fool detectives?
Well, the title itself just said, I'm thinking about putting a on myself. I'm a very avid role player online.
Or will they catch on to his greasy lies?
Autopsy shows she was
Let it out, bro.
You gotta get off your chest.
Get it out.
It's the afternoon of December 28, 2017 in Broomfield, Colorado, and Joseph Marino arrives home from work to find two things missing: his 9mm Glock and his 19-year-old girlfriend, Natalie Bollinger. Natalie, who's long struggled with her mental health, has recently concerned loved ones with talk of harming herself. This causes Joseph to immediately call police and report her missing. But with no other evidence to go on, authorities are left scratching their heads. Is this a case of voluntary disappearance, or is something far stranger going on? Tragically, they find out the next day, when a passerby discovers her body in a field near a dairy farm. Although she's been shot once, the trajectory is inconsistent with self-infliction, and no gun is found at the scene. Not only that, potentially incapacitating levels of drugs are found in her system. Detectives take a closer look at those closest to her, including the last person known to see her alive, her boyfriend Joseph. But cell phone data and an alibi quickly clear him, and as detectives search Natalie's phone, they soon move on to a new suspect, 42-year-old Sean Schwartz, a mentally ill man who's allegedly been stalking her for months, and his disturbing social media posts seem to prove it. But detectives are soon back to square one, because even though Natalie's final Facebook post is a chilling warning to steer clear of Schwartz, he too is ruled out as a suspect. Then, a break in the case, because there's other messages authorities find on Natalie's phone, messages that lead to their third and final suspect. In the days before her death, Natalie had hundreds of texts with a man named Joseph Lopez, and when detectives checked Joseph's cell phone data, they find he wasn't only in contact with Natalie, he was in the same rural area where her body was found. So with all evidence pointing to Joseph, he's picked up at his job at Domino's Pizza and brought in for questioning, where the truth behind Natalie's death is soon revealed.
Before we get started, Joseph, I want to tell you, man, I thank you for coming here, right? Like I said, when we told you over there at your work, you know, we're just going down the list here, Bill. You know what I mean? So, and unfortunately, your number was there. So, yeah, that's why we had to come in and talk to you. You're here on your own free will, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
I never threatened you, made threats for you to come over here, right?
No.
Okay. And you're free to leave at any time. You know that, right?
Yes.
But we appreciate that you're here, helping us get this, helping us square this away, okay? So over there, you wanted to start telling me. You said you think you know what this is about. I didn't want to cut you off, but I had to because number one, I was cold, bro. I didn't wear a jacket. You had a jacket on. I didn't have a jacket on. That wind was cutting right through the shirt, bro. You know what I mean? So, number two, we wanted to be in a more controlled environment. Of course, we're videotaped and whatnot. So, I want to go ahead and just pick it up where you left off, bro.
Alright, okay. So, what I'm thinking this is all about is someone I was talking to over on Craigslist. I was just on there, you know, looking for like pen pals.
And who would that be?
I don't know her name. I never asked. But what drew me to what she had posted was it was very weird. Like where I was at, it was people just looking like for others to talk to, and what she had posted was something about helping her out with like her own. And I mean, it struck me as odd because you know, that's not usually something you see every day on Craigslist, especially in that part. So I started talking to her, and I mean, she didn't give me a whole lot of details while we were talking, you know, over the phone and stuff.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking, because, you know, I suffer from and I've tried to up a few times, and I ended up in mental hospital because of it. And
wow.
Unfortunately, I've moved on from it. My first thought was I really want to help this girl, but the way we were talking, she felt like to me she was adamant about getting this done. You know, like I was scared to see if I couldn't help someone that it was going to go in a direction that I didn't want it to go in.
Joseph wants detectives to believe he had good intentions when contacting Natalie, whose disturbing Craigslist post asking for help in taking her own life caught his eye. But when the two soon met in person, it wasn't help that he offered her, at least not the kind the troubled girl truly needed.
I convinced her to, meet up with me. So I went to her place and I picked her up and we went for a drive. And during that drive, I wanted to learn what was going on and what was going on with her life and why she was so sad and wanting to, because I've been there. I've been homeless and I've been in the hospitals twice. It's a road I don't want anyone else to go through.
It's pretty dark, man.
It's just, it hurts me now, especially since I'm a father, that anyone would think that way.
Yeah.
And it crushes me. She asked me just to drop her off somewhere. And I was like, okay, where are we going? And that's last time I saw her, really. But since I'm seeing you guys today, obviously what I was talking to her about obviously didn't work. So it kind of hurts me that I couldn't help someone else like someone else has helped me before.
Sure. That's what we're just trying to figure out is, one, what she's going through, everything else. And then, have you helped us kind of put together what was going on with her? So.
Yeah, it made me cry when we were talking. And
absolutely.
It just sucks. Yeah.
Do you recall kind of what that said that got your attention?
Well, the title itself just said, "I'm thinking about putting myself."
I'm thinking about putting a hit on myself?
I believe that's what it said.
Damn.
And, for that type of category, it's like way out of left field.
Weird.
So I kind of read through what it said and, it didn't give a whole lot of information on what was going on. So.
What did it say? Do you remember? I think it was the summary.
Not a whole lot. It just that she was thinking about it and she was looking for it immediately, so my first thought was, okay, well, someone obviously needs help and hasn't been getting the help that they need. And, being the type of person that I am, I will do anything to help someone at least stay alive, I initially went in, thinking, I just want to talk to her, see what's going on, find out what exactly is happening. But I knew if the way I worded it, she wouldn't talk to me at all. Like if I was just, well, why do you want this? Why, what's going on? If I asked her straight out, she wouldn't exactly tell me. So, I went along with the role because I'm a very avid.
What does that mean? Went along?
I'm a very avid role player online. It's what's kept me from my sheltered life, talking to people. And basically, there's an app on my phone where you create a character and you act as what that character would be. So after a little bit, I was like, I'm not getting anywhere. Let's see if I can convince her to meet up with me and see what happens. I drove around a little bit because I couldn't exactly find the building. And then when I found a spot that was pretty close to where she said it was, I just parked and waited. And then when she got in the car, we drove around for a little bit, like 2-3 hours, I can't remember exactly. And we just talked and talked. And then eventually I think she either got fed up with me, because I guess she was pretty serious about what was going on. And, there was nothing much more we could talk about because at that point I was mostly doing the talking. And she's like, okay, well, thank you for talking to me and stuff. Just drop me off here. And we went back to the direction where she was living. And she said, just drop me off here.
So during that whole time talking, did she ever tell you her name or anything?
I never asked.
So take us to that. She comes and gets in the car. How that conversation starts?
Well, at first I just asked her, well, tell me what's going on. Why do you want to do this?
There's like no greeting. Like, hey, how you doing? I'm so and so.
When she opens the door, I say hello, and she says hi back, and she's just real quiet and timid, and I don't want to, force her to talk too much because, then it kind of gives away what I'm actually trying to do,
Okay. So is that what the conversation was back and forth in the text?
Yeah.
That just. So what was that? What was she asking you in those texts?
She was asking me like, how do you want to do it? Where do you want to go and stuff? And, I didn't really give her an answer. It was just real general because, I wasn't really thinking about it, But I was just like, well, I know a place, but I can't tell you. And then I sent her a picture of just like this wooded area by a place I used to live. And, it was a horrible place to ever try to do something like that because, it's in a neighborhood. It's on 88th and Welby. It's actually where my mom still lives. So, it was somewhere real close to where I was familiar with. And, it's just like it's literally just some trees on a ditch next to a fence where the neighborhood starts. And, that was just so I could be like, this is a place, for an idea. Because I know that there's no way that, no one would ever, see something that weird and not report it.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
The detectives give nothing away, but there's no doubt they're thinking the same thing as everyone else. This story is insane, and there's no way Joseph's telling the truth. But the texts between him and Natalie back up everything he said, that she was looking for someone to, as the detectives describe it, take her out. So despite Joseph saying all this was just role play, and he never actually planned to go through with it, is it possible he played the role a little too well? And that's when I told her, I'm not here to actually, off you. I just wanted to help you, talk to you, because I've been through all this, like I've been telling you, and I found that it's not worth it.
So what was her plan? How was she planning on doing it? How did that come up?
She wanted someone.
Really?
Yeah. She didn't really give a whole lot of detail because she was unsure herself, but she was just like, when we were talking over the phone, she was like, I'm thinking just like, kind of like, like behind, the person be behind her or whatever. And, I'm thinking, okay, well, she has put some thought into this. So it's not like she hasn't already planned this out, And then when I told her that I couldn't get a gun, she told me that she had one.
Oh,
but,
so she had a gun?
Yeah, like in her house or something. But I don't know if she had it on her or if
She never showed you?
No.
She tell you what kind it was, anything like that, or rifle, pistol?
I know it was a pistol, but I can't remember what type.
Sure. Okay. So then she's saying, hey, I want somebody to, you guys start talking about this or whatever. And then, do you own any guns?
No.
Okay. So then you let her know that, and then she says, I have a gun? It's like,
well, I told her that that I wouldn't be able to get one anytime soon, and that's when she brought it up.
okay. She said she had one?
Mm-hmm. But I assumed, since I've been, in mental facilities twice, that I wouldn't be allowed to own a gun because of the reason I was in there, for attempted. But, I've never actually looked into it. I've looked into things like hunting, back before all this happened, but after that, I just assumed I wouldn't be allowed to actually own a gun.
So she basically tells you, hey, I have one. Okay. She say that in that conversation back and forth, you can use my gun, or?
She did say that I could use it after I brought up that I couldn't get one.
Okay.
But, I never saw it.
Was she asking for anything in return? Like, hey, I'll pay you $50 if you help me do this, or?
She did bring it up, and she did ask, how much a hit would usually cost. And, just pulling from movies I've seen and video games I've played, I gave her a bullshit number or a bullshit estimate. It was hundreds to thousands or hundreds of thousands.
What did you tell her? You said you gave her an estimate.
I didn't give her an actual number. I just said it could be hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars depending on the person.
Because now you're still playing into her, what she was wanting.
Yeah, but I kept it
still
real
playing
general.
into that, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just trying to get a grasp on all this, bro.
What was she like when she got in the car, when you picked her up?
Very shy, very timid. You know, not really a talkative person. Kind of like me. You know, I don't really like to talk to people a whole lot, you know, unless I'm working or I know them very well, which is why I tried to, you know, understand what was going on first before I started talking about myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not very talkative at all. I mean, the first thing that we did when she got in was, you know, we said hi and we started driving, and I started asking her, you know, well, tell me why you want to do this. And then we smoked a cigarette while we were driving, while we were talking. You know, just trying to keep it as relaxed as possible.
Just try to get more info from her.
Mm-hmm.
What was she wearing? Do you remember?
I know she was wearing a hoodie.
No.
And I think jeans.
Do you remember what colors, like?
They were
light, anything?
Dark blue jeans, I think. And I believe it was a black hoodie.
What about her? Can you describe her?
I mean, she looked cute.
While Joseph claims he only met with Natalie to help, his true motives still remain unclear. But as he goes on to make more unsubstantiated claims, like how Natalie was allegedly infected with HIV by her boyfriend, he'll move on to his own sob story. And if you like watching killers who think they're the smartest person in the room find out they're not, subscribe. It goes a long way.
Eventually I did get her to, you know, tell me more in detail what was going on. I just can't remember anything more than her boyfriend was her and she had AIDS or HIV. And after that, you know, I started talking to her about my past experiences. You know, I know what it's like to be, because my roommate was taking thousands of dollars from when we were working to not pay for our rent, but to go and, you know, buy drugs or pay for women. You know,
that's hard.
And I told her, you know, because of that, I lost my first car. I lost my apartment, and everything that was in that apartment was thrown out because I came home from work and they were evicting me. So I couldn't really save anything. I had to get my mom to pick me up. You know, I moved to Greeley and I was technically homeless for 3 months there as well. You know, I finally got a job, and then one day while I was driving to a construction work, you know, I got lost on the highway and I ran out of gas. So I started freaking out, and I ended up in the same situation. You know, debating whether I should just walk out into traffic. You know, I tell her it's a struggle, but once you get through it and you find a good place to be, it's worth it. Because now I'm a dad. I have a great job, and
We'll turn it around.
And that's what I was kind of hoping she would do. You know, I just couldn't give her any information on who to call. I told her to look it up, but we just started talking back and forth on like what to do when, you know, she can't handle being sick all the time. You know, I just told her, well, there are programs and stuff.
Being sick from what?
Like the HIV or whatever. You know, because I know that it does lower your immune system. I mean, my mom struggles with a medication that lowers her immune system, so you know, it kind of hit home for me, especially because I'm very close to my mom. I mean, my dad wasn't the best. I can't call him the worst dad in the world, but he definitely wasn't the best. And my mom fought for like 16 years to try to get me under her custody.
Oh.
And it wasn't until my dad threw me out of the house that I started living with her. And, you know, from there, my relationship with my mom kind of built. And now that she's so sick, it hurts, you know. So I kind of told her my story on that, you know, because essentially my mom is dying. And I can understand from that point of view, you know, HIV and AIDS is a whole nother world, but it's similar.
So your mom had cancer or something? What's going on?
They did find cancer cells, but they were dormant, I believe, and she has Crohn's. So her digestive system was trying to kill itself.
Sorry to hear about that. Hope everything goes good.
Yeah. But other than that, it was just a lot of, you know, it's not worth it, you know, just here's what you can do to get help, here's what you shouldn't do, you know. One, leave your boyfriend. That was one thing we talked a lot about, like, you need to get away from this person.
Like, did you say about that?
I I mean, she's like, yeah, he's, you know, I did fall in love with them. I'm like, sure. I mean, I can understand that. I've fallen in love with a few people that turned out to be completely a waste of time, you know, and you got to do what's best for you. Because, I mean, I broke up with my fiance for a solid month just so I could focus on graduating college. Or graduating high school, my bad. She's in college, which is why it's on my mind. But, you know, I mean, it's rough to leave someone that you have feelings for. But you got to do what's best for you. And obviously, he doesn't care. Which is something I really tried to drive into her, because that's what really we spent the most time on, is just getting away from people who are not with your best concern in mind.
How'd you respond to that?
She was in a lot of denial. A lot of denial.
Like how?
Like, she's like, but I love him and I don't want to leave him. And it was kind of back and forth for a while.
After Joseph's efforts at role-playing as a relationship counselor failed, he did what every self-respecting assassin would do. He dropped his target off at a gas station and went to his job at Domino's.
What time did you drop her off at the gas station? You just had the gas.
It was at least an hour before I had to work.
Okay. So you drop her off and then go home and get changed, or I mean, obviously
I was already wearing my uniform under my jacket, and I just had my hat in the back.
How'd the rest of your night go?
I mean, I was kind of distracted, you know, but eventually it was just, I forgot about it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, huh? Kind of a weird situation. Yeah.
You know, after a while I was just like, you know what, I haven't heard from her. I don't know what's going on.
So you kind of mentioned that you guys go to the trees or whatever, and she says this isn't a good place. What point you said she kind of figured out you weren't going to do it, and she got upset with you? How'd that go down?
Well, she was just really mad that, you know, I took up so much of her time,
Oh.
you know, and she was like, you know, I wanted this to happen, you know, I didn't want to think about it, you know, which I was like, well, good, now you have time to think about it.
That's how you guys are talking? That's how she's talking? That's how you're talking? I want this to happen? You don't just say, I thought you were going to.
No,
You're supposed to take.
she never said that.
That's how normal people would talk, you know?
No, she never said
That's strange.
kill or anything like that. I mean, she did mention, like, you know, but she never
How
said.
did she mention that? Let's talk about
Back
that.
in the beginning when she got into my car, and she was, you know, trying to probe me for information, you know, if I've done it before or anything like that. She was like,
Done it before?
Yeah.
Not, have you ever shot anybody before?
No.
That's kind of strange for somebody to talk.
yeah, I mean, I didn't think too much of it, but
So how did you know she was talking about a gun then? If she
well,
never
that
brought
was
it
over
up?
the texting
So she was texting you?
before I went to go pick her up. But that's why I assumed she had the gun on her. But she never asked if I had, you know, straight out just killed people. You know, she never asked, well, have you ever killed anyone, or
Yeah.
if you or why you killed anyone. She never asked that straight out.
Sure.
And, you know, I'm trying to keep it as
I didn't
general as
get a chance to
possible.
go to the bathroom before. So do you mind if we take a quick break? Do you want water or something?
Please.
Oh,
I am
a
a-
coffee doggy.
I am a smoker, so.
All right.
Can I give us some hot oil?
You guys, let's get the dang trash can out of here.
Yeah. Try to get you a smoke break here in a sec.
Okay.
Unfortunately for Joseph, it'll be a little while before he gets that smoke break, because after detectives return with a snack, they'll have a few questions about the role-playing app he was involved in, and the answers are just as bizarre as you'd think.
Joseph, I'll have water. You do Mountain Dew?
That's fine with me.
Mountain Dew and cookies,
I got
man.
cookies. That's about all I can do for you right now.
That's
My stomach's rumbling. I know you got a plan too, though, so.
it's all good. I really
I live on Mountain Dew, games all night, man.
I think I have a bit of addiction to the Mountain Dew Black.
What's that?
The Black Label is more of like a berry flavor.
Oh, really?
It's super smooth.
What about Code Red? You do Code Red?
Used to.
You don't do it anymore?
Baja Blast.
I don't really like Baja Blast.
What is that app you were talking about? I've never heard of that. The app on your phone.
It's called Amino.
So what is it like? I've never heard of that.
It's just a collection of different communities where people like pick a theme. Say it's like an anime or a TV show like Game of Thrones, and you can build a character and give it specific like a background history or like items, and then you join a bunch of other people and you role play essentially, like building a story.
Oh, really? So you're kind of like, Game of Thrones. I've watched that. So now I want to create this person, the character, put myself in to be a Targaryen or whatever. I can do that and just create my own backstory, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, how many personas do you have on that? Can you create more than one?
Oh yeah.
So you obviously have more than one.
I have 12 characters.
Wow, that's a lot, man.
They're actually all just very similar. Most of them are named the exact same thing. I'm part of one that's like a Neko thing. It's a cat person, like a full-grown human with cat ears and a tail. You can be all kinds of different animals on there, though. And then one is fairy tale based, which is an anime, just kind of like Dragon Ball Z. And then I have a Dragon Ball Z one.
So how does that relate to when you meet this person online? What is their screen name, anyways? What do they go by? Because you texted enough times to know. What were you calling her?
It was over the email, and the email just says Craigslist and then the posting number.
But eventually you get her number and you text. What are you calling her?
I didn't.
What is she calling you? What do you tell her your name is? What's that?
I think I told her my middle name, if anything.
You told her your middle name, Michael. And she doesn't say so-and-so. Because she gets in your car, so that's kind of a personal thing. Usually if a stranger's going to get in your car, you kind of say, hey, how you doing? I'm Michael. My real name's Joseph, but I'm going as Michael. Who are you? So-and-so.
Yeah, we didn't exchange that much on that one.
So she never tells you your name?
Not that I can remember.
Okay, so she may have, but you just don't remember. All right. And you say this persona, you sometimes take that on. Now you say that you were going to take it on as far as responding as a hitman. You kind of were feeding into her, right? Talk about that. Why you did that. How do you go about taking the persona of a hitman, though? How do you take that role on? Because that's what you said, right? That this ad was for, what did it say? What was the title of it?
That she was thinking about taking it herself. I mainly asked her what her plan would be and how she wanted it to go.
You keep saying it. How she wanted it to go. You're not saying, hey, how do you want me to?
I never typed anything like that. No. I kept it kind of general because it does make me feel uncomfortable, but at the same time, I was like, I gotta say something.
You gotta say something. Otherwise, she's not gonna respond to you. She's gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So I just keep it general. Like how do you want to do it, and where do you want to do it?
And what is she saying when you say how do you want to do it?
That's when she tells me that she was thinking about just doing. So she doesn't want to see it.
She says. She tells you that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
she doesn't want to see it. She says that.
Yeah. She explicitly says, "I don't want to see it at all." Like she wants it to go super quick.
Okay.
And
what other details is she giving you?
Not a whole lot over the internet because we did soon switch to the texting.
To text, right?
Yeah. But
whose idea was that to start texting?
I believe I gave her my number first.
So here you go. This is me. Let's text because email is getting old. Yeah. Easier to text, right?
Yeah.
And so she's comfortable with you now because she's texting you, and you're getting her number, right? She's comfortable enough to give you her number. So what do you guys talk about texting?
She goes over it a lot, like what we were talking about in the email.
Go ahead. What does she say a lot?
Just help us understand
what
help us
her
understand,
mindset
was.
She was just really adamant on having a set plan on how everything was going, and then that's when she brought up, like, do you know any place that we could go? And that's when I brought up that photo with the trees and that grass line by where my mom used to live.
As the detectives slowly become more confrontational, their tactics begin to pay off, because by allowing Joseph to talk, they've given him the perfect chance to set up a story that they'll soon be tearing to shreds. And they're about to bring something up that throws him for a serious loop: his girlfriend and child.
I got a question. Excuse me, it's my stomach, it's hungry. You got a girlfriend or a wife?
Fiance.
6-month-old baby, right? How do you get away to go, what do you tell her, your girlfriend or your fiance?
She didn't ask.
She doesn't ask you, like, where are you going?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go to work till 3, till 5.
Yeah, she doesn't pay attention to stuff like that because she was also trying to apply for college classes.
Yeah.
But
you don't say
they actually weren't home at the time.
They weren't home?
Yeah.
What were they at?
I believe she was with her dad, either picking up her brother from work or shopping.
Oh, all right.
For baby food and stuff.
All right. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out, have you since told her about this? You haven't ever told her about it? She has no clue?
No.
All right.
I figured, if something did happen, it would be best just to not bring her into it,
All right.
Just for, keeping her best
Sure.
interest in mind, my kid, obviously.
Okay.
But no, I never told her about it.
Never did she know about IKEA?
Yeah, she knows about my online stuff.
All right, but she doesn't know does she know about you getting on Craigslist, Women for Men?
No.
I'm not going to tell her.
Yeah, she doesn't know about that one.
About that. All right,
she doesn't particularly like Craigslist.
Yeah.
But she knows I go on it because I've looked for like cars and stuff.
Yeah,
on
everybody
there,
gets on Craigslist. I don't know anybody that has been on Craigslist, so.
But she doesn't particularly like it.
What would she say about you being on Women for Men?
I mean, she would probably be really pissed and ask me, well, why are you trying to talk to other women,
Yeah.
And, it's all just for, someone to talk to, but,
Okay. All right.
regardless, she'd be pissed. Because unfortunately, we don't talk a whole lot because I work, night shifts and she's usually asleep by the time I'm home and awake. So
you're just wide open for you, huh? All right. Hey, man, I don't judge you, pal. You got to do what you got to do in this world.
Mm-hmm.
But after all this time, too, like you go back to work, you're there till closing. And then the next day and the next week's carry on, days after that carry on, just business as usual or what?
I eventually forgot about it.
Okay. But I mean, you're going to work.
Mm-hmm.
The next day and the day after and the day after, and then eventually you forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you say you do send her another email.
I sent her one just to see if I could get her to talk to me again.
What did you say in that email?
Just, hey, how are you doing? Like, what's going on? Talk to me. I'm here if you need to talk to somebody.
All right. On which email address did you send?
It should be on that KYO one.
KYO. Okay. All right.
And then, after a certain point, I was just like, it's either something happened or, she doesn't want to talk to me again.
Joseph's tried his best to cover his tracks, but the GPS data on his phone doesn't lie. So as detectives are about to confront him with proof he was near where Natalie was found, the interview takes a sharp turn he doesn't expect.
Like Serge here said, GPS is on all the time, man. GPS is sitting here right now.
Yeah.
So if you're driving around getting lost, you eventually go to your GPS to kind of get you out of there and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So as your phone's hitting off all these places, that automatically hits off it and everything. Is it putting you anywhere else? I mean, are you over by Riverdale Road? Are you down farther into Commerce City, anything like that?
I didn't go into Commerce City, I know that.
Yeah. What about over by the golf course?
On
Riverdale. Everyone knows what golf course is. Big blue and white ball. And
I don't remember it at all.
That windy road, you don't remember being on that?
I just remember getting lost in that cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, I'm actually lost, so
well,
pull it up.
I think what he's explaining also is that not only does it tell us basically a person's GPS as to where they are, a general area, because it hits, are you familiar with cell towers? Okay. I'll just school you a little bit. To get service, each service provider uses cell towers, right?
Okay.
And these are placed at various locations throughout the metro area, throughout the city, throughout wherever.
And that
right?
gives you your signal strength?
That's going to give you your signal, right? So, of course, you get to a tower, you're going to get a better signal, right?
Okay.
Unless there's a bunch of people on that cell tower, then it's going to be kind of a horrible signal.
Okay.
It not only tells you that, shows where I'm at in an area, it'll tell me the date and the time that I'm in that area. And it also tells me the general direction of which I'm going, right?
Okay.
It also shows where I'm not. You know what I mean? So if I say, okay, I was here on Friday at noon, check Friday at noon on my GPS, and I'm not over here, it shows me down here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you had your phone with you the whole time, right?
Yes.
Nobody ever used your phone?
No.
Just you, right?
Just me.
Okay. We have mapped out basically right here what he's holding right there. I'll show you.
This is where your phone's sitting.
Where you were at on this day here, okay?
So now this is Boulder Turnpike.
Okay.
This is Wadsworth. Is this where you picture up right off like Boulder Turnpike and Wadsworth? There's like the 120th, 28th, or Midway, whatever it's called, that runs in between right here.
Okay.
So you'd get off the highway, come up. This is the Jeffco Airport or Rocky Mountain Airport where they always do the air shows.
Okay.
Does that look about right? There's kind of like showing exactly when you're getting your text messages to the phone number from her and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it shows you right where you're at.
Yeah.
This is looking like when you tell us you go down off of 88th and Welby-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So right here, it's kind of the same way down in this area. You can see where it's hitting off the towers.
Mm-hmm.
See, you live right about here-ish.
Yeah, right around here.
So your phone's going and pinging off these towers. So when you send this, when you call this phone number, it goes to this tower. It usually goes to the closest one until it's overloaded, then it rolls over.
Okay.
So it kind of shows us everywhere that you kind of went that day.
Yeah.
This shows us Riverdale Road here too. So, and that's where we're getting at, is it's showing kind of everywhere you went, you guys drove around there.
Mm-hmm.
But what it shows us too is, like here, all around, man, you can see these arrows telling us which way you went and everything. It shows us that you went to 116th and Riverdale.
Okay.
Do you remember going up there?
Maybe when we were lost.
Kind of like the old farm area.
Yeah.
There's a little dirt road that goes off of it, kind of back towards the old dairy back there.
I don't remember dirt, but
You know Macintosh
Gravel
Dairy?
road.
no,
You've never seen that? Not familiar with that?
not at all. No. But I do know that we just followed my GPS when we got lost.
Okay.
So,
Sure.
I mean, if we did go that way, that's because the GPS told me so.
And it shows times of when you were there. Obviously the date,
Mhm.
which wasn't January. It was in December.
Okay. Okay.
December 28th to be exact. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
That's the day that she goes missing. All right. Now I want to tell you this, bro. I want to tell you, from what you've told us, we understand this. She was there. She was found on 116th and Riverdale, in that area, wearing exactly what you said. Okay. From what we think, maybe could be an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
You've been very honest, I think, up to this point. But there's some things I think you're leaving out, bro. Okay. I just ask right now that you just come forward, bro, and you get everything off your chest. Okay. Get it all out right now, buddy. Okay. We're not here to try to jam you. We're here to try to figure out what happened to her. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you know. All right. So I ask that you just get it all off right now. I think it's an assistant, and I get that. She's crying out. You go pick her up. She has the gun. You don't bring a gun because you're not a killer. You're not a monster. You're not a psychopath. You're there to help her. Okay? And I think somewhere along the lines, things got out of hand, bro. And I think that you need to tell us what happened. Okay? Go ahead.
Take your time, man.
I took a lot of time trying to talk her out of it.
I know you did.
Yeah.
I know you did.
At some point, she just got really frustrated. She told me to pull over and.
What happened?
She did. And I freaked out. So I just got out of there as quick as I could.
Joseph doesn't confess to killing Natalie, but the implication he knows what happened is clear. But who actually pulled the trigger is still yet to be known, and as he inches closer to the truth, detectives do everything they can to keep him going.
So obviously we're going to want to talk now about how it really went, okay? I like the honesty. So let's keep it going. No more bullshit from here on in, okay? Now, what's truth and what was not truth? Okay, let's start there.
So we did drive around for a little bit. You know, she was looking for places to do it. You know, for me to kill her, but you know, I was pretty adamant that I wasn't going to. And she started getting really frustrated with me. Eventually, we came up onto a road that wasn't too populated.
The dirt road.
And she told me to stop the car.
So you're still driving. You drive all the way down in? Okay, go from there. But don't leave out any details, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And, you know, we sat in the car for a little bit and maybe a few minutes. And then she got out. And after we were, you know, arguing for a little bit.
About what?
Just, you know, you don't have to do this. You know, there are other things you can do. And she said, you don't understand what's going on. Like, you've told me that you've been through some things, but what I'm going through is completely different. So she just gets out of my car and she closes the door and everything. And I get out and I start talking to her. But she's over by the tree and she grabs her gun.
From where?
It was in her purse.
You knew it was in her purse, right?
Okay. Do anything, and she kneels down, probably sitting by the tree, almost with her back against it.
Where?
Right here. Because I wouldn't do it. And then I started freaking out, so I grabbed her purse and her gun, and I just drove away.
Most very important question right now. Where's the gun?
It's outside.
Is it in your car?
It's in my trunk. It's under the tire. Under the spare tire.
Okay.
Her purse and everything there too.
Her bag's still there, yeah. I didn't know what to do, and
Okay.
eventually I just, you know, I didn't want it to affect me anymore, so I decided just to forget about it.
Is that why you didn't go to work that night? Because you didn't go to work that night.
Right?
No. You didn't go to work for a couple of days after that, right?
Called in sick that night, the next night. No call, no show. And after that.
How did I do?
Not only did you not go to work, but your GPS shows that you didn't go to work either. Okay? Just remember, no more lies, bro.
I really thought I did, though.
Okay. I'm going to ask you this, okay? I know you're there as a hitman. What she thinks is a hitman. You, in your mind, are portraying this hitman. Right? She wants you to do it. She gets picked up by you. In her mind, she thinks you're going to do it. She brings a gun. You guys drive around to a secluded place. Do you back in? Do you pull in? How does that work?
I drove into it, and I turned the car around so we could go back up the road.
Okay. You guys get out. Some sort of argument. She kneels down. Are you the one that takes her life, though, or does she do it? You say that you guys were arguing. You didn't get mad and maybe fulfill her fantasy, this sick whatever she's thinking about wanting to have a hitman.
Never.
Okay. Now this is Detective Rogers' case. He's intimate about all the details of this case. Okay. There's also, you know, when a person dies, whether it's through, you know, however, and the crime scene is then processed, right?
Mm-hmm. I did kneel down near her.
And
I know
what?
that.
And what?
I mean, I was just trying to calm her down, trying to get close enough to maybe grab the gun and take it away from her, but
Okay.
I didn't jump to grab it.
But there's also, when that crime scene is processed, you know, it's processed for evidence, any kind of evidence. You know what I mean? There's also an autopsy that's conducted, and an autopsy will show how a person died, the manner in which they died, and it will also show bullet paths, the path of the bullet. Okay, bro. Take me there. Take us there. She's by the tree. Tell me how she's standing. Show me.
So
I need to know how she's
from what I can remember, she's not crisscrossed or anything. She's not on her knees. She's just sitting with her legs up against her chest.
I want you to get down and actually show me, bro. Because I was not there. You were the only one that was there.
So she's like this. I can't bend my knees as much, but she's like this for a little bit while I'm trying to talk to her.
And what is she saying?
Not a lot. She's just real quiet. And she just keeps repeating, "No, you don't understand. I don't want to be here anymore, you know? Like, I want to, but I'm scared to do it myself. That's why I asked for help." I'm like, well, there's other ways out of this, you know? Don't do this. And I'm not too far from her, and I'm maybe like this, pretty close to her. You know, just trying to.
So you're on one knee? Okay.
I believe so. I'm like this, and I'm just trying to talk her out of it. And she before I can try to reach and grab the gun.
Did she say anything before this happens?
She stayed quiet.
What happened to her after
She fell over to her side. I know she fell. And then
fell.
Where'd the gun go?
I don't know. I can't remember whether she was holding it still or if she just dropped it afterwards. But I was in such a hurry just to get the hell out of there. I just grabbed it and went.
Where'd you go?
Truth now, remember?
So
we know we got your GPS, bro, so truth, okay?
I think I drove around a little bit on, I think it was either 120th or 116th. And eventually I just stopped the car and sat there for a second, just trying to process what happened. And, you know, at that point I'm just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? You know? I think after that I go home since I didn't go to work. I really thought I went to work and just forgot about it, but if I didn't go to work, then I went home.
So you go home, you stay at home. You don't go for the next couple of days, you're just staying at home. You're sick at that point, you're freaking out. I mean, this is some pretty crazy shit that just
The
happened
only
right
time I
now.
ever, called no-show is because I was sick.
Okay.
So I was throwing up after that, but that could have been from the shock.
Just the nerves and everything. It's crazy stuff, man. When it's real like that, I can't blame you for that.
How can you keep this in from your wife?
I didn't want to worry her. I didn't want her to, freak out about it. Especially since, we do have a kid and we're technically living with her parents. And, they're not the most understanding,
Yeah.
So.
Was that eating you up inside though? Not being able to tell anybody? Just going on like nothing happened?
Like I haven't been talking to my girl as much. Like,
yeah, that's gonna, man, that's stuff right there. When you keep that inside, you see something like that, you're around something like that, and you don't tell anybody, man, that's no bueno.
There's not a day go by where I wish I could have stopped her in time.
And that feeling doesn't go away, man. I mean, the easiest way is to talk about it and get that pressure off you, get that off your chest. It's kind of like Sergeant Hernandez said, I've been on this case from day one.
He has. He's been putting in some time on this.
Me and my partner have lived every day on this. So you're being honest now. You know you need to get this off your chest. What I can tell you is I've had to sit there and go over every report, autopsy reports and everything. The autopsy shows she. Okay. We know that. Just like you told me when we first sat down, you watch CSI, everything like that. There's evidence that's on every time that shows if somebody's where the gun is at, how far away, everything. We know the gun was at least 3 feet away, a foot to 3 feet away. But like Sarge said, there's a big difference, man, between serial killer, murder, and everything. Neither one of us are sitting here right now saying, you went there to kill her, you went there to murder her.
No.
So we know that didn't happen. But we also know the evidence shows us that. And that's not something that I can interpret wrong anybody else. These are doctors and scientists saying this is exactly what happened.
Yes.
So we know she wasn't shot by herself. Did she give you the gun when you guys were kneeling down?
Let it out, bro.
You gotta get off your chest.
Get it out.
So at that point, you just decided to do it?
I couldn't do it the way that she asked. It couldn't be that inhuman to her.
Sure. You're making this connection. She already opened up to you, so. Is that why you decided to do it where you were looking at her? Do it from the front right here.
I couldn't imagine, like, what she had been going through, you know. I mean, I've gone through similar things, but that bad, you know.
I can tell you, man, like I said, my partner, we have talked to the family. We have learned everything about this girl. She was going through a lot. She had a crazy amount of stuff. Like, I can't even imagine what she was going through.
You name it, she was involved in it somehow, or it happened to her somewhere in some capacity. So
that's why I'm saying.
I cried the whole time.
Absolutely. You just fired. After that, you grabbed her purse.
That's when I freaked out and just got out of there.
The detectives present a masterclass in giving their suspect a safe space to spill everything, because by framing Joseph's actions as an act of mercy, it finally gets him to confess. But considering what he's confessing to is still stone-cold murder, all the alleged mercy in the world won't save him, and now detectives want every detail.
How do you keep that in, man? I don't understand. Wow, how it exploded, imploded, all that, you know? Holy cow.
I know I couldn't talk about it to any of my family members.
She wanted you to do it from behind, right? I'm not as intimate as he is. He knows this already. How is it?
I just started crying again. You know, hoping that she does find something better, you know, in the next life, or that I hope that her pain is finally over, you know.
Want to take a break? Use the restroom or something. We'll take a smoke break in a while, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Joseph, thank you for telling us the truth. It helps. Okay.
It's really been killing me every day.
I had to give you a hug. I don't know why, but I just felt like it's like doing that. Okay, I see how it's wearing on you.
It's been haunting me.
It's been haunting you.
Like, I regret it every day. There's not a day I go by.
Because you want to know why? You're human. You're not an animal. You're not a killer. That's why. All right?
Except in the eyes of the law, Joseph Lopez very much would be considered a killer. He was charged with first-degree murder, but after agreeing to plead guilty to the lesser charge of second-degree murder, he was sentenced to a maximum of 48 years in prison. At his sentencing, Natalie's mother shared her family's feelings about Joseph's horrific actions and the impact they've had on her twin sister. She didn't hold back. We hope you enjoyed today's video. 85% of our viewers aren't subscribed, so if this is the kind of content you come back for, just hit subscribe. It's the single biggest thing you can do to support the channel. If you want to keep watching more, check out one of the most intense cases we've ever covered right here, or catch up on our latest upload right here.